And we are live on what one might call a very special episode of a Victory Auto Wreckers Dive In. Joining us as co host and co commentator today, Fanboy G of the Fanboy Cantina channel. Fanboy, good to have you around.
Good to be here.
Let's let's go backwards before we go forwards. We were looking to have this be a New Year's Eve show. I wasn't really in the best of health for New Year's Eve, so here we are now. How many days? 6 days into the new year. Happy 2024 to you, my friend. Happy
Happy 24.
2024 to everybody. So here we are, instead of on December 31, coming to speak on Victory Auto Wreckers. So we did have a comment. Let's jump in the comment first, and then Junkyard. Oh, I see what he did there. Yeah, well, I hope I'm worth something at this stage of the game. All right, so Victory Auto Wreckers, longtime Chicago institution of a salvage yard, and one might say junkyard, as Junkyard was in the comments. Longtime establishment, now closed. So we wanted to reflect on both the organization itself and its infamous, famous local advertising, because as this t-shirt notes, let me start in the front. That old car,
there you go.
That old car could be worth, depending on which era of the ad, is worth money. And there you go. Victory Auto Wreckers call for a quote. Of course, if you call now, they're not there anymore, but I understand they still have a towing service attached. So, all right, here we go on our photos. For the first time in my life, I went over to Victory Auto Wreckers, hence the photo. And they have a red partition there. We'll get some more on that later. I wanted to look at this right there, right in the center square, 710 East Green Street in Bensenville. Off to the side, we can see you have a Tyrannosaurus chomping a car, which was attached to a later variation of their advertisement or their commercial. And if we look at this picture here, it's essentially the same thing, but I wanted to come over here. So that would be advertised as, at some points they would say 7 acres. At some points they would say 9 acres. At some points they would say 10 acres. If we look in the older photos, you can see it's a bit of a gravelly or muddy field. And then later on, they started to say it's a paved lot. So they were trying to improve on their service and on their conditions. Before we jump into the ad, or here, let's before we jump into the ad, let's take a little bit more of a look right there on Green Street. Right, good and close up there on Green Street in Bensenville. When they say near O'Hare, they mean near O'Hare, because right there's the airport. I wish I would.
Well, how funny!
I wish I would have caught a plane passing by. Have you ever before been to Bensenville? Or have you passed by the exact address of 710 East Green Street?
I have not been. I couldn't remember where Green Street is actually. I do know that it's in Bensenville near O'Hare, because that's the commercial. No, I've never been there. That's funny. And actually, the shirt that I am wearing is also a Victory Auto Wreckers. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna pirouette myself here, but on the back it says "Now Paved." So it was a T-shirt to celebrate the paving of Victory Auto Wreckers. Yeah,
there, for whatever exact date they had done that, it was an upgrade. And hey, we're not just that muddy puddle of a junkyard that you might think of other junkyards. No, we're a fine-tuned operation. They also started to add, and they had all the cars are stacked in neat rows and columns to make it easy access. So that same image on the front of your shirt is right here. Now, I didn't know this either. Like, I thought I was going to, and let's look at, we're looking at WGN on YouTube. We're looking at Fuzzy TV Memories, Classic Chicago, for their captures, for their videos. Mm-hmm. I didn't know Victory Auto Wreckers had their own YouTube channel.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And again, WGN TV for their Around Town feature would go out and visit. But let's dive into the actual classic ad. This image clearly pulled from a WGN video. So for those of us that grew up around town over here, here's the guy approaching the car, and he goes to pull the handle because that old car could be, and right there, instantly the handle, the whole door is coming down right up, emphasizing that this car is no longer operatable. This car is no longer serviceable. This car should get towed over to Victory. Let's take a note here. We got the blue T-shirt and that thick armband for the watch.
Oh my goodness!
The guy Bob, we'll find his last name in a minute. So he still has that same blue T-shirt and he still has that same watch band. So the T-shirt and the watch band have outlasted the vehicles, have outlasted the the organization of Victory Auto Wreckers. Now it's pretty cool. All right, and here's cool. the big finish, the big conclusion. It's sending the tow truck guy over. They're trading the title and the cash, hauling it away. So, we had in our youth, you had your Victory Auto Wreckers. You had your Empire Carpet Man. You had your Solozzi Edelson, where you always save more money. Your Eagle Man, and then later Eagle Woman. As local advertising, what's your read? How did this ad stand out, and how did it fit in with the other classic locally produced ads that were around town?
I mean, how often did we see that commercial like in an hour? Like if let's say we're in 1980 Chicago watching WGN, how often are we going to see that commercial in an hour? Is it once an hour? Or is it like 5 times an hour? I don't know what the level of frequency was or is back then.
Right, but it had a heavy rotation on the airplay without knowing the exact frequency. It was around a lot. I see we got a couple of comments, so let's take a look. Feathered hair, yes. Yeah, of the era, feathered hair, and then Junkyard. So Junkyard, your actual image there is the actual Victory Auto car. That's a beautiful thing. Yes, so the leather band watch band he's wearing was on the WGN show. And and so speaking of that, let's jump further into it. Where did we leave off? We left off at the tow truck. And so there he is. Here's
nice.
Because this ad was cut in 1985. We've all aged since 1985. So here's Annabella Vall and Dean Richards. And so for the majority of the ad running, Dean Richards was the voiceover. I believe they did the audio recording of Dean from 1991. So prior to that, it was a different person. I have his name listed. We'll come back to that. So then they're going to do a replica. Well, obviously not the exact same car because the exact same car had been crushed, but replicating. Oh, there goes the door. And do for further research or further interest, feel free to check out the WGN on YouTube, where this is all well recognized. Now, speaking of WGN YouTube, so this commenter says, "Gonna miss Victory Auto Wreckers. The '85 commercial was the best." So I mean, yeah, it's just it's not just the Auto Wreckers itself. It's not just the ad itself, but it's also a piece of nostalgia, a memory of being younger, of a time before cable TV was prevalent, before the internet, before streaming. It was just part of the entertainment within the entertainment. Or if it was cartoons or rerun programming, we'd be seeing the Victory Auto Records ad on, and it was part of the good times of youth.
No, absolutely. These old commercials, right? They're part of the soundtrack of our lives, right? They may seem like just as marketing. Yeah, I'm sure for some people it's just like, oh my God, why watch this kind of stuff? Why remember this kind of stuff? But it does take you back. It does take you back to that earlier time where you're sitting on the floor in front of the TV that was essentially a piece of furniture in one's house, literally a piece of furniture in one's house, and watching whether it was the Cubs game or the Munsters or whatever the heck it was. It takes you back. I had meant to actually get you that shirt and me and a few other folks a shirt, and there was a bit of a foobar that happened, unfortunately, in procuring all of said shirt. But I had this nice exchange with the owner afterwards, or some guy over at Victory after it closed. You know, it was nice to just exchange emails with him and yeah, just say. I mean, obviously, I was annoyed about the shirt thing, but, but it was just nice to say that, you know, this place, which I personally never visited, it was a part of our lives in a way. Yeah, and one last random thing, it takes you back to I think an earlier, simpler time where, you know, Solozzi and Edelson were still around, when the Empire carpet commercial didn't have the 800 number in the front of it, right? You know, it's just good times. It's good times and nostalgia.
That's another marking of societal change or historical noteworthy point. Area codes, right? So this was the 312 area code up to around the 815 area code, and now it's even hard to keep track between 312, 773, 708, 630, and now there's 224 for local Chicago area codes, and now, you know, people 8872. So the proliferation of the existing phone numbers making it necessary to have a greater number of area codes. Back in the day, yeah, and similar to the TV ads, local businesses would just have a 7-digit phone number that didn't include an area code. I see we have another comment, so let's jump. Heavy rotation on WFLD and the old channel 26 before MeTV and WCIU were a unified thing, when just channel 26 was mostly ethnic programming. You'd have the Greek hour here, you'd have the Polish show there, you'd have you know, different ethnic representations. But these ads, so that leads me to, the ad was also run in Spanish. The ad was also run in Polish. I'm not sure if other languages were included also, but it's just a local legendary thing, and there is a sentimentality to it. And then leading up to, so this commenter again, we knew of it. We didn't, until I drove by to take the picture to do this recognition of it, had never physically been there. But so now here's somebody with a memory. He remembers going with his dad to get parts for his old Lincoln in the GMC van. And so it was a father and son moment. The dad wanted to teach the son about cars, and he would take out the junk parts and hold the tools for him. So this guy, whoever Busy Izzy is, had actually been on the lot with his dad. That's kind of a cool intergenerational father-son memory to have.
Yeah, I don't know. As you know, I don't know anything about cars, right? But like, not a big car guy. But you know, with technology and how cars are produced nowadays, you got the, you know, hybrid cars and electric. I'm sounding like an old guy here, but yeah, you got these newfangled hybrid car. Yeah, you know, the technology has advanced to the point where can the average human being work on their car? I mean, you can do some things, right? You can do some amount of maintenance and work, but yeah, I wonder how hard it has, or how complicated has it been, where, you know, unfortunately, I'm talking about the demise of Victory Auto Records here, where, you know, did the market change where it just became harder for one to, you know, go to the lot, get the part that you need, and, you know, try to work on your car? Is it a function of technology?
I think, at least in part, it has to be, and that was definitely an intentional. I mean, I say definitely, but I don't have
Yeah.
documentation and sources. But I think it's just understood, commonly accepted, that the auto industry made the construction of the engines and the rest of the parts of the cars more technical, more difficult. So the basic guy with some mechanical ingenuity or some modicum of experience wouldn't be able to do his own work as much as, say, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, maybe even to the early 80s. So it's definitely, you know, well, who's to blame the auto industry for trying to
Yeah.
draw in dollars? But yeah, it's it marks as many as area codes as the way cars are built. There were many changes in technology and many co-occurring changes in time throughout the history of the establishment of Victory Auto Wreckers and throughout the run of the famous advertisement or locally famous advertisement.
I wonder how often somebody pulled up to that lot, and this would have been in the middle of the 80s when the language changed, where that car is worth money. That old car is worth to might be worth money, or with that caveat. Was that a legal thing that happened, or was it, or was it, people showing up with their, uh, you know, uh, still living Pinto, and or you know, or maybe not still living Pinto, like this thing ain't worth a squat.
I'm sure again, without really knowing, but
Yeah,
let me say it would be entirely plausible. Let me say it that way. It would be entirely plausible that they changed the language of the ad because people walked in with a car that was just not worth all that much and not really salvageable, but for the scrap metal. And they'd
right,
be, hey, you said my car was worth money,
right.
so where's my money? So I mean, I can only imagine the stories that would have gone on both in the lot or at the front counter for that kind of a transaction.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So speaking of now, this one I caught it in a frozen
Mm.
part here off WGN's YouTube, so you can kind of see the background. But as the video was transitioning, you see the training of the title and the cash in that one. And again, so this is the of the older time. I'm not able to identify the cars, but I am able to identify that's not a paved lot back in the day.
Mm-mm.
So but it is of the time where we had the 630 area code and look, Victory Auto Records.com. So
See,
definitely go.
those two cars right there, those cars are worth money. But that's like what, a vintage car from the 50s, or yeah, late 50s? That car is definitely worth money.
I would think so. I would think so. And then here, so obviously, right, the Fuzzy Memories TV, the classic Chicago media YouTube channel. As I said there, yeah, do you know we found the one with a different phone number? Please leave our watermark intact if you repost. So I wanted to go one better than leaving their watermark intact. I wanted to say, people go ahead and check out because there's a lot of great memories from all different kinds of Chicago area media things on their YouTube channel. Uh, this guy says, "I hate how they shut the doors for good. It was one of the best places to get starters, transmissions, and batteries for all types of cars. So whether they're having fun with it or being sincere with it, it's a noteworthy comment." And there we are, Victory Auto Wreckers, just slightly fewer subscribers than the Fanboy Cantina channel, but a significantly lesser video number of
Yeah.
videos produced. I don't imagine there'll be many more posts coming to the Victory Auto Wreckers YouTube channel.
Yeah,
We
that's
have
sad.
here. So besides the 1985 commercial, there's definitely an ad that started in 1981, which ran from 81 to 85 then, and it was a more basic, it was a less theatrical, less staged. The door didn't fall off the hinge in this one. But again, just some of their older material here. And like this sign right here, that looks like whether it's a bakery or a car dealership or any kind of business, like these are the kind of signs that would be all over the place in local businesses. I wanted to say right here when the WGN TV, there's Dean Richards in the Santa hat, would have their holiday, their toy drive. Here's Victory Auto Wreckers representative dropping off a big load of toys to be distributed. So that's kind of cool that they'd be in a community service kind of a way. This one's definitely a bit of a blurry image right here, but this would allow you to see the entire lettering across the front of from the place, Victory Auto Wreckers. Now here, as time passed,
Oh my
they
goodness.
they did a, I don't know if I should call this CGI or if I should call it animated, but it's definitely not the live guy anymore. As you can see, they replicated the wristwatch band, the blue T-shirt, and the door falling off the hinge of the car. So as time passed, they knew what was successful and they wanted to rekindle their 1985 piece there.
Oh my
So now
goodness.
So this was definitely not part of the original stuff from 81 or 85. I can't say what year exactly that this came to pass, but now you have, as we saw earlier, a dinosaur, a Tyrannosaurus Rex image on the side of the wall. And so in this later animated ad, so here comes the T-Rex to scoop up the car, catch it in his teeth, give his neck a toss. There we go, up, and now even higher up. And then I was like, well, how does the car land? Well, he catches it. What a skilled T-Rex. What a skilled animated T-Rex to then catch the junk car in his teeth and start to crunch it down as though he were the scrap metal machine. So I applaud their locally produced, maybe nationally produced ads for nationally produced products, be it a coffee or be it whatever else, might have a certain degree of polish that might be absent from this here, but it absolutely had a locally produced degree of charm to it. We've got another comment here from doesn't get the dinosaur thing. Again, I think the dinosaur thing was just like you wanted to. Good question. I don't know exactly its point of origin, but maybe you wanted something animatable to come up and run up on the car, and then maybe the strength of the jaws of the dinosaur were maybe hey, let's pick something that's as strong as if the name of the thing is the Car Crusher, or if there's a more technical name to it. Anyway,
I'm glad you showed. I had never seen that one, the animated thing. And it reminds me of, like, with Empire Carpet. Now the Empire Carpet guy is immortalized in a animated or CGI animated form now, cartoon form. With the dinosaur. Yeah, I never saw that one. And now it helps to explain, like, why is this here? Why is this dinosaur? Well, one, in this black and white form, or just the white print. Yeah, I mean, is it a mushroom? Is it or a tree? But now I get it. It's the dinosaur eating the car, based on.
Again, if only we had access to get these, like, who painted it on the side of the building, who designed it in the first place. Sometimes we can't get to the answers of the questions we're looking for. Campbell comes in from Campbell's Corner. For our purposes, we will call the Dino Vicky. We could be completely wrong, but Vicky the T-Rex hanging out at Victory Auto Wreckers. Come back over here. So again, as looking around at the different YouTube channels, and this was one of the classic images from the Chicago Field Museum. Outside the museum. So Channel 26 used to run this still image as part of their bumpers or as their promos. You're watching Channel 26. And again, this was the list of you had your Eagle insurance with Eagle Man and then Eagle Woman, Empire. Now Moo and Oink, they musically and choreography wise, they had something that Vicky and the rest of Victory didn't have going for them, but it was just all these different ads together. It was definitely part of the whole thing. This was quoted. They went through 25,000 cars per year. So that makes me wonder, in the absence of Victory Auto Wreckers, where are these 25,000 cars that are past their time? Like, in a legitimate supply and demand kind of way? Well, how is the scrapyard guy going to get access to 25,000 vehicles? And then also not just the scrapyard guy or the scrapyard people. What about the reuse of that metal after it's been sent over to scrap? I mean, that's something. I hope there's a good resolution for that.
Yeah, I have no idea what the competitive marketplace is of auto wreckers. Yeah.
Now this one also, check the yellow pages for directions.
Nice.
So at this time we were in the area code era where they posted the area code, but just even the idea of a TV ad saying, go look at the yellow pages. That rare for that to happen today. Now here's Dean Richards again making a giveaway of the Victory Auto Wreckers sweatshirt, I guess you could say. And the guests that day were Anthony Mackie and Kevin Costner.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if we want to tweet at Anthony Mackie and say, hey, do you still have your Victory Auto Wreckers sweatshirt from WGN, from Team Richards. But before we wrap it up here, let's take a jump over to the old share screen here, and let's get the Victory Auto Wreckers actual. Okay, so if we're doing this right now, we're looking at the actual victoryautorecords.com. We regret to inform our valued customers we're closed as of November 30. Extend our heartfelt gratitude, and then for Get Victory merchandise here. So if somebody were still looking for this merch, there's the very t-shirt you're wearing, the very t-shirt I have in my hands, and a bunch of variations on the Victory merch. Take me back to the 80s. And then this other one here with the actual wall, 1945 to 2023, that they're listing as the vintage Victory shirt.
Wow.
The other one's classic vintage Junkyard Life. That old car was worth money. And Take Me Back, that old car is worth money. And then I think that's the extent of the Victory shirts. So let me come out of there, and then we'll just conclude with jumping over into the Wikipedia page so we can just give a little bit of factual on the starts and stops.
So with those shirts, so in my exchange with this guy about the food bar with trying to procure the shirts back in November before they closed. So now they're on. You can still. I'm not sure what the quantities are that are there, but they're actually cheaper than they were before. So and I think I saw that one of the shirts is like $5 or something like that. So if should you want to augment your wardrobe with some Chicago history, now's the time. It's a good deal.
Completely reasonably priced. It's kind of like if a player gets traded from one team out of town to a different team, then the jerseys go on sale. So
something like that.
It's got that kind of a thing. But just to take note here that it was founded in the 40s by World War II vets. Kenneth Weisner, I hope I'm saying his name right, and bought it in 1967. And then it's his son, Kyle, who I guess is now retiring and having run the business from 67 up to the end of 2023 here. As noted, there's the original ad from 1981. And then this part here, television historian Steve Chakowski argued that the commercial was as much a part of Chicago history as Bozo, Fahey Flynn, and Svengoolie. Well, that's some iconic level stuff right there. Let's go stop share. Let's come back around here. Let's see. We got so again, it was the organization and the actual functional purpose that it served. It was the legendary iconic ad as part of a cluster of legendary iconic ads, and just a nostalgia piece, a simpler time. You and I had never made it there, but clearly some other people had been, and it was a father and son moment in their lives. So Victory Auto Records, we salute you. Thanks for being around for the time that you were around. G, any closing thoughts on the shop, on the ads or the ads?
It is sad. It is the end of an era. It's Victory Auto Records is part of the nostalgic soundtrack in our heads and in our hearts. So it's really sad. And as time passes, more unfortunately, more of these pieces of our lives and childhood are gone. It's sad, but it's nice that Victory Auto Records was a part of it, for sure.
All right. Anything coming up that we want to speak on future episodes on the Fanboy Cantina channel?
Oh,
or is this not the right time for?
No. Now's an okay time. I've been thinking about. So I haven't posted anything really, like most of last month, most of December. I just had a lot of other stuff going on, but I am planning to unbox Warpath, which is an Action Force figure. This is probably my favorite action figure of 23. So hoping to do that eventually. And then I got this big heavy thing. It honestly is really heavy. It's this omnibus book from of all of the art, collecting the art of G.I. Joe. And this thing, honest,
Hang
it
on.
must be like 20 pounds right
Let me
here.
one shot you on this here. Let me one shot you on that.
I think this thing is like 20 pounds. Honestly, it is. It is heavy. This thing is heavy. This was from a Kickstarter campaign, and it just started shipping. And I've seen pictures of people have already unboxed this thing, and it looks amazing. For me, GI Joe was about the toys, but also about the artwork. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to come back to Camel's comment there, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, could you hold it? I mean, that looks like such a clear print off of the just for a second off the GI Joe issue 1.
Yeah.
I mean, just everything's so well rendered in there. It's not blurry, it's not faded. I don't know if that
Oh
counts
yeah.
remastered or redone, but that is a great piece that you have there. All
I
right.
mean, it's truly impressive. It's truly impressive, and they've got like on the back. This is the and it gives you a sense of how deep they're going. They've got the GI Joe train set that you could get from the Sears Wish book, back in the day. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. Oh my goodness, we're looking forward to checking this out and sharing with folks. It's currently wrapped in plastic, which is fantastic. But yeah,
Plastic fantastic. All right, taking Jim Campbell's comment as our last comment for the show here. Has Sven been a spokesperson in a commercial?
that's a good
So
question.
Sven Rich Coes definitely did some of the voiceover. I guess it would be station specific. So definitely, as I mentioned, Dean Richards. So definitely Rich Coes. As far as Sven doing other spokesperson things, I think I can't remember the name of the lawyer that he has on with him now, but Howard Aikman, attorney, Howard Aikman, attorney. So Sven will co-host some ads with Howard Aikman, attorney. And as I mentioned earlier, there was an original voiceover artist or recording person before Dean Richards, and that's Carl Grayson. So Carl Grayson was a WGN person who may have also been attached to Creature Feature, but I didn't get my homework squared away there. I mean, Creature Feature in different regional markets, different shows would have that name. So there might be more than one Carl Grayson, but wouldn't that be funny if Carl Grayson of Chicago was also attached to Creature Feature of Chicago with WGN doing the voiceover for the car, and then so did Rich Coes doing the voiceover and the other Creature Feature, if you will, the Screaming Yellow Theater, the Son of Svengoolie, the Svengoolie Show. All right, well, looking forward to more Fanboy Cantina content in the coming years. We're give or take 20 subscribers away from another landmark, so we're looking forward to increasing the numbers over there. And I'm more than happy to have anybody else subscribe to the Mr. C Dives In channel over there.
Click
Thanks for
that like
stopping.
button. Click that like button. It's down there, and the subscribe button. I think it's over there. I'm not sure where it is. Click that button.
Happy New Year again to everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us and having a moment of nostalgia via Victory Auto Wreckers. We'll close us out. We'll see you soon. And thanks again. And we